way you trust other people, handle conflict, or even choose romantic partners began forming before you were old enough to remember. For decades, psychologists focused primarily on thoughts and behaviors, but one psychiatrist asked a different question. What if our earliest relationships shape who we become? That question changed psychology forever. It's Daniel with The Quiet Mind. Welcome back to our series on historical counseling figures whose ideas continue to shape modern psychology and counseling today. We are talking about John Bowlby, the father of attachment theory, a theory that has influenced everything from parenting and child development to trauma therapy, couples therapy, and even modern neuroscience. John Bowlby was born in London in 1907. He trained as both a physician and a psychiatrist, but what truly fascinated him wasn't medication, it was relationships. During his early career, he worked with children who had experienced neglect, separation, and loss. Many of these children displayed emotional and behavioral difficulties that weren't fully explained by the psychological theories of the time. Bowlby began to notice a pattern. The quality of a child's relationship with their caregivers seemed to matter far more than anyone realized. At the time, many psychologists believed that personality was shaped mainly through conditioning or unconscious drives. Bowlby believed something much more fundamental was happening. He proposed that humans are biologically wired to seek closeness with caregivers because that connection is essential for survival. Today, that idea seems so obvious. At the time, it was revolutionary. One of the biggest misconceptions today is that attachment simply means being emotionally dependent. That's not what Bowlby meant. Attachment is really about safety. Every infant enters the world completely dependent on other people. When caregivers consistently respond with comfort, protection, and emotional availability, children gradually develop an internal belief that the world is safe and that people can be trusted. Psychologists call these deeply held expectations internal working models. These mental templates influence how we interpret relationships throughout life. Do I expect people to support me? Do I believe I'm worthy of love? Can I ask for help? These questions often begin forming during our earliest relationships. That doesn't mean our childhood determines our future, but it does provide a starting point. To understand how groundbreaking Bowlby's work was, it's helpful to understand what psychologists believed before him. For many years, one popular theory suggested babies became attached primarily because caregivers fed them. In other words, the emotional bond was thought to be secondary to meeting physical needs. Bowlby disagreed. He argued that children have an innate biological drive to seek comfort, protection, and emotional closeness. Around the same time, researchers like Harry Harlow conducted famous studies with infant monkeys. The monkeys consistently preferred soft, comforting surrogate mothers over wire mothers that simply provided food. While those studies would not meet today's ethical standards, they provided strong evidence that comfort and connection matter just as much as physical care. Bowlby's ideas fundamentally changed how psychology understood child development. Love was no longer a luxury. It was necessity. Perhaps Bowlby's most influential concept is what he called the secure base. Imagine watching a toddler at a playground. The child runs over to the swings, explores new things, and meets other children. Every so often, they glance back toward their parent. Sometimes they even run back for a quick hug before heading off again. That caregiver becomes both a safe haven during distress and a secure base from which the exploration becomes possible. Ironically, children become more independent, not less, when they know someone is constantly available. Security creates confidence. Confidence creates exploration. Exploration creates growth. It's a remarkably elegant idea that continues to influence parenting research today. Although Bowlby's research focused on children, attachment doesn't disappear when childhood ends. As adults, we continue to look for relationships that provide safety, trust, and emotional support. Attachment influences friendships, romantic relationships, parenting, even the therapeutic relationship in counseling. If someone grew up experiencing consistent care, they may find it easier to trust others. Someone who experienced inconsistency or trauma may struggle with closeness or fear of abandonment. But here's an important point. Attachment theory is descriptive, not deterministic. Your past influences you, it doesn't define you. People can build healthier relationships throughout life through insight, corrective experiences, and therapy. That's one reason attachment theory remains so hopeful. Many people are familiar with terms like secure attachment or anxious attachment. While these ideas are often attributed to Bowlby, much of this work was expanded by psychologist Mary Ainsworth. Through her famous strange situations studies, Ainsworth observed how children responded when caregivers briefly left the room and then returned. Her research identified several attachment patterns. Secure attachment. Children seek comfort and are soothed by their caregiver. Anxious attachment. Children become highly distressed and struggle to settle. Avoidant attachment. Children appear to minimize closeness. Disorganized attachment. Children show confusing or inconsistent responses, often associated with frightening or unpredictable caregiving. These attachment styles have become incredibly popular online, but it's important to remember that they're patterns, not permanent identities. Human relationships are far more complex than any label. Today, it's difficult to find an area of counseling untouched by Bowlby's work. Attachment theory influences trauma treatment because trauma often disrupts a person's sense of safety and trust. Family therapists use attachment concepts to strengthen parent-child relationships. Couples therapists help partners recognize attachment needs that often hide beneath conflict. Child therapists understand behavior through the lens of connection rather than simply focusing on compliance. Even therapies like dialectical behavioral therapy, emotionally focused therapy, mentalization-based therapy, and many trauma-informed approaches reflect Bowlby's influence. As counselors, we often become part of a corrective emotional experience. The therapeutic relationship itself becomes a place where clients can safely explore emotions, practice vulnerability, and experience consistent support. That's very much in the spirit of Bowlby's work. John Bowlby helped us understand something profoundly human. Before we learn language, before we develop beliefs, before we understand ourselves, we learn whether the world feels safe. His work reminds us that relationships shape us in powerful ways, but they don't imprison us. Healing relationships can change us too. That's one of the reasons attachment theory remains one of the most foundational of modern counseling. If you enjoyed learning about John Bowlby, I'd love for you to subscribe and follow along. This is part of my larger series on counseling figures, where we explore the psychologists, psychiatrists, and counselors whose ideas continue to influence therapy today. Next time, we'll take a closer look at Mary Ainsworth, whose groundbreaking research expounded Bowlby's work and introduced the attachment styles that are still discussed around the world today. Until next time, I'm Daniel with The Quiet Mind, and thanks for watching.